Okay, so in this video we will talk about Readwise and Readwise Reader and the support on different ebook readers like the Kindle, Kobo, Books devices and Bigme devices and even Weiwoods and Supernote and all those devices that can install both the Reader app and the Readwise app, and also devices like Kobo and Kindle that can't install Readwise or Readwise Reader but still supports Readwise. So here on my table we have some different devices, and let's start by using the Weiwoods AIPaper Mini, as you see here, my favorite device and my daily driver that I always use every day because of the journal features on this. I really love using the pen nowadays. But if we go into the app section, we have the apps I have installed on here. As you can see, we have Reader and Readwise down here. So let's say we go into Reader here. Here we have the latest book open that I've read in Reader. So if we go back to the Reader interface on this, you see we have the inbox, later, and archive. Archives is everything you have read that you will still save. So if you read a lot of different articles and so on, because you can use this as a read later service. But in this video we will talk about reading books. So if I want to start this book, for example, just click on it and it opens in Weiwoods AIPaper Mini in the Reader app. The Readwise Reader app is open now. Here we can read, of course, and I really love this way the Readwise Reader turns pages. You can do this. You can swipe up to go forward in the book, and you can swipe down to go back in the book. That is a very nifty way, because when you hold this in the left hand, it's so easy to just swipe up to go to the next side page and swipe down to go to the earlier page. And if you have it in the right hand, you can still do the same there. I think that works great with not having any buttons on a device, a buttonless device. You can have this swipe feature instead, because it's easier to swipe up and down on a device than swipe left right actually. It's much easier on an e-ink device that is a bit slower to refresh and so on, to do a up swipe and down swipe instead of left right. And that is really awesome. Another thing that's awesome with the Readwise Reader app on an e-ink device is that you can look up different words with the Ghost Reader. The Ghost Reader in Readwise Reader uses AI. So if we long press on that word, you see the Ghost Reader turns up here. So if we click on the Ghost Reader, down here, you see it doesn't have a white background. That would be preferred on an e-ink device, but anyway, you see a bit down here you can do. You can also do a custom prompt with your own script for using AI. But let's say we go into the dictionary definition. I have hacked this dictionary definition to translate in Swedish every time, but you can still have the original script that does everything in English, of course. So if I click on dictionary definition of this word, then the AI gets out on the internet and tries to explain this for me, what this word is. And as you see here, it translates it into Swedish, even if it's an English book, because I have hacked the script to do that. Escape was the word, and in Swedish, rymt, som tagit sig därifrån, and you get even two emojis to explain what this is. That's kind of neat. And after doing this, it's even better. You see, it's saved here. This explanation of that word stores in Readwise. So you can have your knowledge that you look up when reading a book stored in Readwise. So when you are reading a book and do this look up of words and so on, everything gets stored in your Readwise app. So you can search them, you can have them shown for you every day if you prefer, so you have all your knowledge, everything you read, always present. That's really nice, I think. So if we do this, for example, mark this, and we do a ghost reader again, and this time we choose encyclopedia lookup. Now the AI starts, the ghost reader AI, it starts to look up this words I have marked up from the encyclopedia. And now it's finished, and now we have that in Swedish. As you see there, I will not read this in Swedish for you, but you see it's in Swedish. Really nice. I love that. So that is stored now in my Readwise app. All the knowledge I have looked up, even if the text is in English, I have the knowledge stored in my language, Swedish. I really love that. And you better hack those scripts, the ghost reader scripts, on a computer, on the web, in a web browser, logging into your Readwise Reader account or a Readwise account, and hack the scripts there and change to what you want. You need to know some script language when it comes to ChatGPT to do those different searches, but that's easy to learn. So this is really nice. You can also do this, click on this page somewhere and open the sidebar here. Here is information about the book, as long the book is and so on, and you can choose the notebook here. Here you see everything I have looked up with Ghost Reader. Here you see the latest two. So you can see that when reading the book too, and of course you can click on it, on these icons to show the same. You can see that here, for example, it's very easy to do. So that was how easy it is to look up stuff when reading in Readwise Reader. And as I said, this way of turning pages fits me perfectly fine, actually. I really love doing this. You see as fast it is to turn pages here on the Weiwoods AIPaper Mini. And it looked gorgeous as usually on the Weiwoods AIPaper Mini. I really love this display. It's the best e-ink display I have ever used on any of my e-readers. By far, even. I think that's a combination of the size and the crispiness of the display and the DPI and everything on this. It's so nice to read books on the AIPaper Mini. But anyways, that's another video. Here we have Readwise Reader, as I said. So now everything is stored, what you have read and so on. You have everything sent to Readwise with all your knowledge and every highlights you do and everything. Now if you can go into Readwise, I usually don't use Readwise on an e-ink device because it's a bit slow and so on, but you can use it on an iPhone or an Android phone, an iPad or any other tablet or a computer or whatsoever. Here you see the books I've read and articles and tags and the highlights from those books. Here, for example, we have different highlights and stuff I have done. For example, the English book I have opened in this video. We can see all those stuff I have for that. This is what I have stored. Here you see the last two I did for this video. As you see, the knowledge is stored here and easily searched. Really love that. So, and of course you can do much more than this with these apps. Yes, these apps are very expensive. And by the way, the highlighting with the pen works in Readwise Reader too, as you see here. You can, if you long press on a word and then drag this like so. Now I have highlighted that with a pen. So now that highlight will be stored in my Readwise account. So that is also nice to know. So you can use your pen with your device. So yes, what I would like to say is that Readwise and Readwise Reader is really expensive. It's a very expensive service. I just use my trial period now to test these two apps, and I'm not sure I will continue using these apps because very expensive here in Sweden. It costs around 1,300 Swedish crowns, and that is way much more than, for example, Apple Music or Spotify here in Sweden. So a Readwise account is more expensive than Spotify or any such service I use. But maybe it could be good for some that will store information and so on. So for example, now if I have the Onyx Boox Palma here, you can just start the reader up, and you can just use the reader app directly here and go to your inbox. It's a bit slow to start the app the first time on a device, on an e-ink device I mean. So now if I want to continue reading that book, I can just click on that and it opens exactly where I left off, as you see. My highlight I did there. So easy to do. And this works really good, as you see, to turn pages onto. And you can of course use the button on the side here to turn pages. Works great. So you have buttons, physical buttons, if you prefer that. So that works great on the Onyx Boox Palma too. And by the way, you can use text-to-speech, and the text-to-speech quality on the Readwise account is really good. It uses Unreal Speech. The service is called that. So if we now want to use text-to-speech here, we can go to listen. And here,
3. Sutton's Key was the sort of West Virginia mountain town you didn't know existed until you met someone who had escaped from there. Narrow streets, A-frame houses piled one atop the other. A cluster of municipal buildings cowering in the lee of a vast wooded hillside. It had once been a prosperous mining community, but generations ago the old mine had collapsed, burying an entire contingent of coal miners alive, and taking much of the western woods and a few of the ramshackle houses on the...
I'm not sure what happened with the prompt there, but we try to restart that again. Let's go to listen.
Sutton's Key was the sort of West Virginia mountain town you didn't know existed until you met someone who had escaped from there. Narrow streets, A-frame houses piled one atop the other. A cluster of municipal buildings cowering in the lee of a vast wooded hillside. It had once been a prosperous mining community, but
as you see there, it's a bit buggy about the prompts when using TTS, but as you heard, the voice for this TTS is really great actually. It's so easy to follow along in the text when you're reading, and you can use this in your car and so on, so you can listen to the book in your car from the iPhone or an Android phone or this phone even if you prefer. And when you are home again, you can start reading the text instead of listening to it. That works really great. I have tried that. So the text-to-speech engine is really good, at least for English books. The Swedish engine is not as good and doesn't work on Android devices with long books, but on your iPhone, I have tried the iPhone at least, It works great with Swedish books too, with the engine that is available. Not as good as the English engine, but still good enough to listen in your car and read when you're home again, and so on. Before we go into Kindle and Kobos, how that works, then we will see the last Android-based ink e-reader, and this is the Bigme B751C. I have this set up for co-reader, Book Fusion and Storytel, and those three book apps works great on this. Here we have Reader now and Readwise, and here we have the Reader app. We start that. I think Readwise should change that startup sequence to e-ink compatible, actually, so we don't have a black background as they have there. So now we start up the app for first time on this device, and it's very, very slow then, as you see. But now we can open up that book and start reading where we left off on the Onyx Boox Palma. As you see, it's a color ink e-reader. It looks gorgeous, as you see here. Really nice. And here we have, I think we left off there because we go back in the book after we turned off the TTS. But anyways, we are here. And the buttons on this device works, but sometimes they are quite slow to turn pages. Laggy, if you know what I mean. This time it works quite good. So, and it works even when you turn it the other way around. And then this works too with the buttons. As you see, it works correctly. Of course, you can still do the really cool swipe up to turn pages and swipe down to go back. It still works, and everything else works on this too, of course. One nifty thing with Readwise Reader is that you can see how many minutes left of the chapter. If you click on that, you can see % of the book. You can see how many hours and minutes left of the book, and you can turn it off completely. You can also see 10% of the book as we had before, and this is how many minutes left in the chapter. That is also good. So that was the last Android-based e-reader we will check out. But now we have a Kobo here, for example. If we have a Kobo or a Kindle device that runs co-reader, then it's very easy to add highlights and stuff directly from the book by just highlighting. You can just highlight. Let's say I want to highlight this text. And then select highlight, like so. Now I've highlighted this. Then I can go up to this, and you can go into that menu, and here we have export highlights. If you set this up to the Readwise service by choosing format and services, you can turn on Readwise here by setting your authorization token that you have in your Readwise account. It works great. Just add that authorization token to this setting. Then if you export highlights by just clicking export all notes in current book, then it will export all highlights you do in this book to Readwise. And that works great because now you can store all your knowledge and highlights and so on from the book you're reading on a Kobo device or a Kindle device. It works the same on the Kindle device. If you don't use co-reader on the Kindle device, by the way, the co-reader on this works exactly the same on the Kobo, no difference there. Just add your authorization token from Readwise. But if you are using the normal Kindle UI with your Kindle books, you can connect that to your Readwise account. Let's say we go into this to open Readwise like this. You see that you can, oh sorry, I'm not logged into that, sorry for that. We take my Weiwoods instead. We open a Readwise. Here you can add highlights, as you see there. If you click on add highlights, you get a few options here. Sorry for that. Like so, add highlights, you see Kindle. Here you see Kindle, by the way, why doesn't this autofocus? Sync your latest highlights from your Kindle books. So if you add this to your Kindle account, as you see here, if you log into your Kindle account and so on, then you will sync every highlight you do on your Kindle with your Readwise account. That works awesomely too, actually. So that will be another way that you can store highlights and notes and so on directly from your Kindle to your Readwise account. And as you see here, you have AIPaper, you have Pocket, you have a lot of different stuff here. You can even add stuff from your email and so on. So that's great. So all in all, I think Readwise and Readwise Reader is excellent services, but I think they are way too expensive, so I'm not sure I will buy a subscription after my trial period. But I would really like to have an account for this, because I would love to use this service much more in the long run and do videos about it, how good it is to store knowledge and everything in these accounts. But we will see if I can afford it. I think that was it for this video. You see that I have different services to try on these devices, and I know most of you, my followers, are using a Kindle and doesn't like that I do videos about other stuff. But in this video, you see you can use this service for a Kindle too, in a way. You can't use the Readwise Reader on a Kindle though, but you can use Readwise service connected to your Kindle or a Kobo, for example. But anyway, I think this category of my videos is e-ink, e-readers and ebook readers is my topic of this YouTube channel. So you have to understand that I will not only do videos about co-reader, Kindle or Kobo. That is not the goal for this channel. The goal for this channel is ebook readers, ebook reading, e-ink devices, and all about that. And even a lot more than that too. So I hope you understand that. Okay, bye.